Hey, welcome back to Ideas and Impact. I'm your host, Jeremy Jones. Welcome to a new era of Ideas and Impact. Three big ideas to transform your life or business. We are celebrating going over 500 episodes. Over the last few years, I have interviewed and featured over 500 experts on my show. And the number one request that I get from emails, from listeners, from supporters of the show is we want to hear some of your insights. We're hearing from guests all the time. I interject a lot of times. A lot of episodes, I will interject my thoughts, my ideas, my insights. But I do get a lot of listeners to say, when are you going to do some solo episodes or when are you going to start another podcast? And as much as I would love to, I really love this podcast. I really enjoy connecting with other people. But here is what we are going to do as we go over 500 episodes and we go from 500 episodes to 1,000 episodes for ideas and impact. Three big ideas to transform your life or business. We're going to mix things up a little bit. So, a couple of times a month, I will do a solo episode, and it starts today as we go over very soon 500 episodes on the show. So, personal thank you to all of you for supporting the show. And I'm going to share some insights today how you can discover your unique advantage. A lot of us, in business for yourself, what if you could have a secret, unique advantage over everyone else? Now, we all say, oh, I hope it's an even playing field, but don't we all sort of want a little bit of a unique advantage over the competition? Isn't that what we do as business owners, is to be innovative and disruptive and disrupt the marketplace by having a little bit of an advantage over them, not taking advantage of people, but having a strategic and unique advantage. That is what I'm going to talk about today in the three big ideas. Now, I'm going to do some solo episodes, but the format is not going to change. That's one of the I hear from the most from our listeners as well, is the format of the show they love. So we're going to stick to a 15-minute format, and I'm going to cover that today. So today's episode is about discover your unique advantage, how to package your knowledge, and how to monetize your unique genius. Take the thing that you do best, that you flow, that you get fulfillment out of, and that you serve people the greatest, and monetize it so that you can grow, you can thrive, improve your life, and improve your business, and most importantly, impact other people. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So, the first big idea I want to share with you here, let's get started, is the market doesn't reward the best expert. It rewards the expert that it can understand. And this is what I call in my new book, The New Genius Code, the visibility gap. And we're launching this new book, The New Genius Code, and it is about packaging your expertise and finding your unique advantage and finding your uniqueness. And that's one of the things in interviewing over 500 experts and helping over 250 people roughly to create, package, publish, and launch their book, is helping people find their unique strategic advantage. And why do some people that seem to be really skilled and really good at what they do seem to fall behind? They seem to be struggling. They seem to have to throw out their Calendly link like they're, you know, I don't know, throwing out like they think it's valuable, but it's not, to try to beg and need people to get onto a Zoom coffee chat and do these networking Zoom calls, and to be burning yourself out on Zoom calls constantly just to try and get clients. And that's not what authorities do. Authorities have unique category positioning, and just because someone is visible does not mean that that expert will be rewarded. It rewards the expert that has clarity. And we call that the clarity tax inside of the book. There's a clarity tax that you pay if you are not clear. If you're communicating your message to your audience and you are not clear to them, when they hear what you do, the right person thinks to themselves, ooh, that's for me. Then you're paying a clarity tax. You're having to talk to 2 times, 3 times, 5 times as many people as you should. This shows up in a big way if you're running cold traffic. Okay, so we see this in advertising books. When we advertise books on Amazon, if your title your subtitle, your book description, your book cover is not clear and it doesn't have the metadata that's clear for Amazon, you pay a clarity tax. You're going to have to pay more in advertising. But if you have all those things dialed in and you're clear with your messaging and you're clear who your book is for, then your clarity tax is minimal. You're going to pay a tax for advertising and all that, but you minimize it as much as possible. Okay. So the expert gets rewarded for being crystal clear. So my action step to you today, the thing that can impact your life or business, is how can you take what you communicate in what you do and how you help people and make it more clear? Can you say it in a sentence or two that's crystal clear that when the right person hears it, they go, "Ooh, that's for me." And when you advertise on Amazon and especially, Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, your advertising has to be as clear as possible. If it's confusing, if it's foggy, if it's blurry, you're going to pay a clarity tax. Okay. You're going to pay more in advertising to acquire a customer. Now let's go into the second big idea here. Second big idea I want to share with you is that genius is simplicity and simple is genius. That is the new genius code. Traditional thinking says that genius means knowing more, acquiring more knowledge. And we learn this in public school. You have to memorize a bunch of stuff. You have to get, when you get, you get out and you get a job, you got to get credentials. I need certifications. I need these papers to say my value. And with I mean, yes, there are some professions that require that, but in a lot of service businesses, you don't need more credentials. You need to be more clear and you need to clarify your unique genius in a big way so that you can show your unique genius. And unique genius is not you being an all knowing genius. Genius is now simplicity. In the age, like we went through the information age, and now we're in the AI age where people are flooded with content, flooded with information. Most people do not need more information. What AI does not give you is good judgment and your knowledge and your life experience. And that is something AI cannot duplicate. So the way that you create your unique strategic advantage is with your unique genius. It's the simplicity of your unique genius, your unique lens on the world. Think about with artwork. When you have artwork that is an original and there's only one, those are the most valuable, especially when the painter is an authority in that space. When there's one, it's more valuable. And guess how many there are of you? There are one, of course. I know you knew that answer. There are only one. So traditional thinking says you need certifications, you need titles, you need all of this information. Today, in the world that we are in today, genius is simplicity and simple is genius. So, what I would like you to think about today, your action step for this, your big idea today is how can you, and it's actually sometimes it's more work to simplify. And I've heard one, like as far as copywriting goes, like sales copywriting, is I would have made this sales letter, he says, I would have made this sales letter shorter if I would have had more time. And you would think, oh, if it's shorter, it takes less time. Not necessarily, because you need to think how you can say less in a more clear way. So, how can you take what you communicate, what you do, and simplify it with your unique genius? How can you create unique positioning and say it in a more simple way? It's not about knowing more, giving more, having more, all of that. It's simplicity. Genius is simplicity. Now let's go to the third and final big idea. The third big idea is that your knowledge is not just expertise, it's intellectual capital. When you think about the things that you own, a lot of people, if I say, what do you own? A lot of people will think, I own a car, I own a house, I own like I've got a guitar back here, I own these things. What they don't say is, I own the knowledge and the skills that I've earned and I've built out over 10 years, over 15 years, over 20 years. And guess what? That intellectual capital is something that you own. Most experts think of their expertise as something that they use while they're working. And I want you to think of it differently today. I want you to think of it as something that you own and something you can build assets from. That is how you monetize your expertise, is by finding your unique genius, productizing your unique genius and then turning it into a knowledge capital or intellectual capital, a product that you can sell where your calendar is not dependent on someone getting value from it. Like when you create a book and you package a book, your expertise, your value can generate uh, value years to come, generations to come. I had a client that she had told me we published a book for her father. Her father had passed away, and she had this book that she sat with her child. And her child was so young that she didn't really know her grandfather, my client's father. She didn't really know him. And now, as the child was getting older, she sat with this book that had this wisdom from the grandfather. And that's the legacy. The legacy is the intellectual capital of the legacy. And she could see her daughter like underlining some of the words within the book. And it was almost like she had told my client had told me it was almost like she was hearing his thinking. She could hear him thinking of those things that he would say and hear his thinking. That is knowledge capital or intellectual capital that can be passed on long after you're gone. And the things that we own, like our car and stuff like that, those are depreciating assets. But our knowledge capital can actually grow over time because think about it. If you have a book that impacts someone and impacts their life, and they underline a word and they put that into action in their life, and then that book sits on their shelf, and a year later they go, "Oh, I need to reread that," and they read it and they look at it, and then they refer it to someone. They say, "Hey, go onto Amazon and buy this book. It's got some really good stuff." And you know you've been in that position. I've been in that position as well, where somebody says, "Oh, there's this book. You got to check it out. It's really, really good." Well, they go into Amazon and they buy it, and that book is then printed and shipped to that person. And now that knowledge capital extends the life way beyond your circle of influence, way beyond any area that you could ever touch, literally around the world. So I want you to think of your knowledge capital, your intellectual capital as something that you can build assets from. And that's how you monetize your expertise is by building intellectual capital. I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort building out systems and processes, and I've taken it and put it all into the new Genius Code with my co-author, Justin Michael. Justin is somebody that has published more books with my business, Jones Media Publishing, than anyone else that I can think of. I have another author that's we're on his fourth or fifth book. Justin, we've published 7 books with, and so he's somebody that I've helped to bring out his expertise, bring out his unique genius, build systems, name systems, do his knowledge capital, and we've done that together and partnered together. And he's become a great friend. We've done 7 books over the last 4 years, and he's got incredible results with those books. He's done hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and gotten lots of new clients and massive contracts for his consulting. He's done really well. It's been transformational for him that he's told me. And he's become a great friend. And so as I was thinking about the type of book that I want to put together to help people more with legacy and impact, I didn't want to write a book about writing a book. I had done that before. I have a couple of different books and ebooks on that. I wanted to take it up a level and take people that really had something they knew that would be of value to the world, but they just hadn't packaged it yet, or they don't see enough value in it. And so what we have done is we have created the New Genius Code. Okay. And this book is just fantastic. I'm really proud of it. And when you get this episode, it's going to be coming out very, very soon, or when you're watching this, it might be available. And you can get it by going to newgeniuscode.com, and it's either going to be there and available or it'll be coming soon and you can get the information there. So thank you so much for watching. Would love your comments. Comment below on some insight or something that you got out of this, but most importantly, do something with this information. Okay, let's go a quick review over these 3 and then we'll sign off for today. Number 1 is the market doesn't reward the best expert, the market rewards the clearest expert. How can you talk about what you do in a more clear way? Number 2 is simplicity. How can you take this complex thing and make it more simple so that people can understand it? If everyone is overwhelmed with information, simplicity wins right now. Simplicity wins. And then number 3, knowledge is not just experience, it's intellectual capital. How can you think about how you can package your expertise so it can go beyond you, beyond your calendar, not just tied to what can happen in the room. You're talking about something in the room, but it can go beyond the room. like that book that I mentioned where people are underlining it, or a program or a course, or something like that. Okay. So those are some things I want you to think about. Thanks so much for listening. Again, my name is Jeremy Jones. If you're the first time here, welcome. You can get updates on this podcast and stay updated on innovations and new episodes by going to askjeremyjones.com. Click on podcast. You'll see this episode right there at the top. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.